Number what? 30. No, you got to round down to the whole number. Yeah, mechanic fractions, no decimal.
Cash is 25 off.
Do what?
Cash is 25 off.
Yeah, we got cash. Don't need cash. I'll determine your score. Carrie says she's 25. She's got a long way to go when she's young. Right. Who else? Anybody?
We talked about it right here.
Okay.
We said we want to choose because it's a month away. So you got to give us a little bit more, right?
No. I'm not listening to Shalana. Who else?
You said between 50 and 60.
Between 50 and 60. Anybody higher than 50 or 60? No? Thank you. Your wife is blessed. And your daughter soon will be. Anybody below? What? Okay, this is going to be good. Everybody turn around. Dana, what did you say?
I said 75, and she looked at me like I was a crazy lady.
Alright. Now, here's the funny thing, is when you start trying to put numbers on how good of a don't read any more into it. I just ask how good of a person that you were. Okay? When we start talking about it amongst each other, sometimes we think, well, we have to justify our number. You know, we got to start comparing. You know, well, he's a 75, and he does this and does this, so I got to be at least a 76. Everybody's trying to get one up. Okay? Here's the problem with comparison. Now listen to me. Two thoughts. Number one, when you compare yourself against somebody else, you feel better about yourself if you try to compare yourself to somebody that you feel does more wrong than you. On the other end of the world, maybe you try to compare yourself, especially to Christian people or new Christian people. Well, we say, well, this guy can quote scripture like crazy, and this guy says these prayers with these words, that are, 8 phrases long, and there is no way. And then we start feeling worse about ourselves. Either way, you're in trouble. When you compare who you are to anybody else, you're setting yourself up. You're setting yourself up. So, let's get into Luke 23. And I want to look at the 2 people who were hanging next to Jesus. We're going to start in verse 32. It says, 2 others, both criminals, were led out to be executed with him. Finally, they came to a place called the Skull. All 3 were crucified there, Jesus on the center cross, and the 2 criminals on the other side. Criminals. They're not good people. They're probably in the lower third, or worse. Back in that day, the criminals were considered the lowest of the low. They had no such thing as a white-collar crime or a blue-collar crime. You were a criminal and you were scum. Okay? Crucifixion was one of the many ways that they dealt with people like that. And they did it for 2 reasons. Number one, public humiliation. They didn't hang him up on the cross in a secluded area. They hung him on the cross, naked, beaten. As people would walk by, mock and spit on him, hurl insults at him. And they were also hung there because it was painful. It was painful. It was excruciating pain. The root word of excruciating is ex-crucifix, which means out of the cross. Out of the cross. The Romans wouldn't necessarily all the time crucify Romans. Most times they would crucify the Jewish slaves, for one of 2 reasons. Either because of their crime, or because of the type of people that they were. So you had a Jewish slave here, you had a Jewish slave here, and who did we have here? Jesus. So what do you think the Romans thought of the man in the middle? That he was just like the other 2. A Jewish slave, scum of the earth, lowest in the class Look at verse 39 and 43.